All right, so here are your questions. It's pretty heavy stuff. Should a parent cut ties with a child who has left the folds of Islam? No. Next question. No, you can't cut ties with somebody who's leaving the deen. Who gave you that license? Somebody came to me and told me one time, a mother came and told me this and said, I don't talk to my son anymore. He doesn't pray. He says he's not a Muslim, so I cut ties with him. I was like, who are you, lady? How are you going to cut something Allah commanded that you keep joined? All of a sudden, he's not your son? What Indian movies have you been watching? Aaj ke baad tum mere bete nahi ho. Like, please, that's not Islam. And she goes, no, Nuh alayhi salam, Allah told him that that's not your son, remember? إِنَّهُ عَمَلٌ غَيْرُ صَالِحٍ إِنَّهُ لَيْسَ مِنْ أَهْلِكَ. He's not from your family, he's no good. I was like, yeah, so Allah sent you a memo like he sent to Nuh alayhi salam. How many of the 950 years have you done, mother? Please, no. By the way, when our children drift away from the religion or even declare they're no longer following the religion, in whatever cases I've seen from around the world, the reason is not spiritual, the reason is not philosophical, the reason is 99.9% of the time emotional. Something messed up happened and the family did not deal with it properly. So how about you become emotionally supportive so that the heart can heal emotionally and inshallah return spiritually? A lot of times, we don't address the emotional needs of our kids, or our parents, or our family members, and expect that spiritually they're going to remain sound. So long as they're praying, everything's okay. No. Prayer is an outside manifestation. If the heart is not in the prayer, that's an empty shell of an exercise. It's an empty shell of an exercise. People, we don't, in our cultures, unfortunately, and I hope you guys are different, I really do. And I'll say this without flattery, I find the community in Cape Town unique. Even though I spent very little time here the last time I was here, I've been in many different parts of the world. Even compared to South Africa, I think this place is unique. Very, very unique. So I hope this is unique about you guys too. In Muslim families in general, we don't openly talk about our emotions. We don't talk about what's actually hurting us. And we don't have the room to talk about it because if you open up to your mother or your father about what's hurting you, they will use it against you in an argument later, humiliate you with it, so you can't open your mouth, so you keep yourself quiet, so you keep yourself shut off. And then they say, why don't you talk to me? Why don't you talk to me? Why don't you tell me what's going on? And in your head you're like, the last time I told you what's going on, you bulldozed me with it. So I'm never going to talk to you again. You never talk to me. Is that what Islam teaches you? You don't talk to your parents? Ustad Nouman, here's my child. They don't talk to me. Tell them to talk to me. When you don't create a safe environment, why would anybody communicate? You have to create, and both parents and children have to learn, sometimes in order to open up, and inshallah Ramadan is a time, shaitan is chained, it's an opportunity for you to maybe have some open conversations. Yes, it may be hurtful, tempers may flare, but having openness in a family can save you from a lot of trouble. Being able to express yourself and being able to withstand criticism, sometimes, as soon as you hear, you hurt my feelings, oh yeah, I hurt your feelings, what about you? In 1987, remember? On the 3rd of April at 4:20 p.m.? No, you don't get defensive. Just listen. Just be empathetic. Hear people out. And hear, especially your own family. Hear their pain out. Our job, we often think that our job is to tell people what they need to hear. We don't think of ourselves as we have to listen. We always think of ourselves as we have to tell. No, that's not our job. Our job is to listen first. And that's even a sunnah of our messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When somebody would speak, he would let them finish. Even the most ignorant people, Abu Walid, comes to him, starts accusing him of being a magician, accuses him of poetry, accuses him of wanting money and political power, goes on and on ranting and insulting the messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he goes on and goes on, and the Prophet is listening, listening. And when he ran out, he said, Afaraghti Abu Walid? Are you done yet? Because if you have more, you can go on. And he finished, and then he recited some Quran to him. Do we let people finish what they're saying, or we cut them off? No, you listen first. No, stop it. Now my turn to talk. That's what we do. And then things like this happen. This leaving Islam didn't just happen in a vacuum. Or he's seen some YouTube videos, that's why he became an atheist. Nuh-uh. No, it's not them videos. Something led him to those videos or her to those videos. Something happened way before then, and it mostly happens inside of our families. So we have to address that first. Anyway, I've been struggling with depression for a while, and I feel that it really affects my connection with my salah and religious obligations. Any advice? Yes, depression is serious. It's an actual medical condition, and you should treat it as such. Our religion offers spiritual solutions, and it also offers emotional solutions. Our messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was having difficulty in his marriage, sought the help of a counselor. The counselor to humanity, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, recommended somebody should come and counsel what's going on between myself, so when he did that, with Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, when he did that, what does that teach you? It's a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to seek outside help. It's a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if you're suffering from depression, one of the worst things you can do is suffer alone. But you have to share. You shouldn't just go around telling your friends, by the way, I'm really depressed. What should I do? Then you go to the next friend, hey, by the way, I'm really depressed. What should I do? I just need some advice. And you just collect advice. You don't do anything, you just collect advice. Some people are like that. And then they start making memes. Depression is the worst thing in the universe. And then the next meme, if only people knew how depression worked. And the next, these are going to help you? Like putting a billboard outside your house, depressed over here. Please drive slowly and wave. Seek help not from Facebook. Seek help not from Instagram or Snapchat. Seek help from actual people who can help you. Seek, my recommendation, a professional counselor. There's nothing wrong with seeking that kind of counsel. But seek that kind of help. Maybe it's not something spiritual. Maybe it's something emotional. And let me tell you one thing about that. Human beings have three kinds of needs. We have physical needs like food and other needs. We have spiritual needs, connecting to our God. And then we have emotional needs. Yeah? Feeling loved, feeling like we belong, feeling like we're understood, feeling safe. Those are emotional needs, right? These are all equal needs. If one of them is missing, it affects the other ones. They're connected to each other. If you're hungry, which is a physical need, you might be in a bad mood, which is emotional. And if you're in a bad mood and you're hungry, your prayer is not going to be that good, is it? Amen. Things are connected. So yeah, we have to acknowledge the importance of addressing emotional challenges and not reducing them to spiritual challenges. That's the other important thing. It's an opportunity to share that with you, hopefully for some other questions that'll come up too. Sometimes people have an emotional problem like depression. They're sad. Or they feel like they don't have the energy to get out of bed. By the way, depression isn't just sadness. There's more to it than that, right? But somebody says, you should just remember Allah. If you had iman in Allah, you wouldn't feel sad. Acha? Really? You heard of Yaqub alayhi salam? How many years did the man cry until he lost his eyesight? You want to go give him a lecture about how much iman in Allah he should have? He's a messenger of Allah. He's a prophet of Allah. You could be spiritually connected to Allah and still feel depression. Our messenger, nobody's more connected to Allah and His words than our messenger, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And Allah says about him, وَلَقَدْ نَعْلَمُ أَنَّهُ يَحْسُنُكَ الَّذِي يَقُولُونَ. We know that the things they say make you sad. And here we are, more Islamic than Islam. If you have iman, you will not be sad. Acha? It's completely okay to be sad. It's a part of life. Our messenger felt sad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's not a spiritual problem. And by the way, when you tell someone, even at funerals we do this. Somebody's son passed away, somebody's wife passed, have sabr. Wait, what? I don't have sabr? Don't cry, have sabr. Did anybody give Yaqub alayhi salam the lecture to not cry and have sabr? Having sabr and crying are two separate things. You're totally allowed to cry. And the fact that you're crying does not mean you don't have what? Sabr. And if somebody is experiencing that kind of sadness and you go tell them, by the way, you don't have sabr, they're like, oh, I'm sad. Now I'm even more sad because Allah is not happy with me. You made their problem even worse. So we have to develop emotional sensitivity when giving counsel. Sometimes we give Islamic counsel that's not Islamic. That's not even from Allah's book or the teachings of our Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anyway, can I visit a father to get his permission to see his daughter? Whoa. Without the daughter knowing that I asked. See how that works out for you, bro. Let's just do it. Let me know what happens though. I wanna know. What dua can I recite as a single mother for Allah to make me a good mother of deen, especially now in this difficult changing time that the youth are growing up in? Du'as are for our strength. And your dua in whatever challenge you have in life isn't a special dua. When we ask Allah Azza wa Jal for guidance, He knows what role we play in life. Whether you're a single mother, or you're a sick person, or you're a child that's actually taking care of the parents, whatever circumstance you find yourself in, when you ask Allah for guidance, He guides you in how to play your role the best way. Don't reduce the religion to give me some special words. Like people say, well, the lady comes to me and says, I'm pregnant. What should I recite? Quran. Yeah, but what part? Should I recite Surah Maryam? People say you should recite Surah Maryam. Lady, Maryam, salamun alayha, had to run away from home, go under a tree, and had the most difficult delivery, and then was humiliated by her people when she brought the baby back. Just because that's a pregnancy doesn't mean you recite that when you're having a baby. There's no connection between those two things, So sincere dua to Allah for what you need is actually the legacy of the Quran. Understand this point. This is not a point of knowledge, but it's a point of understanding, thought process. You know who the people of the cave are, right? Ashab al-Kahf? Know some things about them. These young men that we recite about every Friday were not prophets, clearly. They were not followers of a prophet. They had no knowledge of any revelation. None. They did not memorize any du'as. They did not know any of the books of Allah. They did not know any of the prophets of Allah. All they knew is worshipping these idols doesn't make any sense. There has to be one God. That's all they knew. Nothing else. Now, because of that, as they were running away from the people and running into a cave, and they made dua to Allah. آتِنَا مِن لَدُنْكَ رَحْمَةً وَهَيِّئْ لَنَا مِنْ أَمْرِنَا رَشَدًا. You're the one we've turned to. From your special vaults of treasure, give us some kind of loving care. مِن لَدُنْكَ رَحْمَةً. And make our decision easy for us so we can find the right course. That dua we recite, ulama of this deen recite, people get ijazah in Quran and they recite, and that dua was taught by someone who didn't get ijazah from anyone. That dua was said by someone who didn't know Arabic, who didn't know names of a single prophet. They just knew they turned to God and prayed, and Allah acknowledged the sincerity of their prayer so much, He made it part of the Quran. What do we learn from that? To Allah, the sincerity of your prayer is the most valuable. So valuable, it became something that's taught in the Quran. It's in the Quran like that. So the change in thought process is necessary. Yes, there are sacred prayers, but more important than anything else, you can ask Allah in Afrikaans. It's okay. Ask Allah in English. Ask Allah in Punjabi if you speak Punjabi. It's okay. You want to ask Allah in Arabic? That's fine too. That's completely fine. But ask Allah with a sincere heart. That's actually the only thing that really, really matters. And I pray Allah makes your struggle easy. By the way, for single mothers, just on a side note, how does Allah honor single mothers? Every Hajj, when we do sa'i, aren't we honoring a mother who was left by herself to take care of a child? Right? SubhanAllah. The entire ummah wants to fulfill its ritual to Allah by commemorating a single mother at the time who was left by her husband by Allah's decree. And she's just running, trying to take care of her child. And single mother doesn't mean divorce, means she's the only one who can take care of the child. SubhanAllah. And how we treat women that are divorced. Like they're, some kind of virus. Don't invite them for Eid. Others might get infected. Anyway. I'm going to skip that one. How do you treat a husband that always insults and belittles you? Always wants to be in control, extremely overprotective, especially with girls. Okay. There's no Islamic response to this. I'll tell you what I've come to understand. You are completely free to disagree with me. There are two kinds of relationships that Allah created between human beings. There are relationships in which you don't have a choice. They're called ulul arham. Meaning, you didn't pick your mom. You didn't pick your dad. You didn't pick your brother or your sister. That was chosen for you. Sometimes you look at your brother and your sister and you say, how are you my brother? That happens. Because if this was a choice, you would be on the other side of the planet from this person. But they're connected to you by blood. Allah decided that. How is Abu Lahab the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ? Only Allah knows. Blood connected them. Nothing else connects them, but blood connected them. You understand? Those are relationships in which you have no choice. Marriage is a relationship of what? Of choice. Two people come to a mutual agreement to live a dignified life and start a family together. And let me tell you the overarching principle. Every agreement that a human being enters into by choice, a human being has the right to leave by choice. But it has to be a sound decision. Allah did not condemn, if you're being abused in a relationship, Allah did not condemn you wanting to leave that relationship. I'm not encouraging anybody to get divorced, but I'm also not demonizing the institution either. Allah never once in His book criticized the institution. Never once. There are pages and pages on divorce in Baqarah. There's an entire surah called Surah Al-Talaq. Never once has it been condemned. Never once. You know, famous narration, Inna abghad al-halali inda Allah al-talaq, that the most hated to Allah of all the permissible is divorce, is actually by many muhaddithun a made up narration, as extremely weak at best. And we teach that first, we teach the rest of the Quran on the subject later. Kalimatullahi al-ulya. The word of Allah comes first. If anybody finds themselves in an abusive relationship, I don't say the solution is divorce, but I do say the solution is confrontation. Direct confrontation. This cannot go on. Abuse is not okay. Insults are not okay. No human being should live in indignation. Allah gave human beings dignity. Allah gave every human being dignity. If somebody's being abused by their wife, or somebody's being abused by their husband, those people, Allah has given them honor. Even a husband or a wife cannot take that away. A parent cannot take that away. Parents don't have the right to insult children. Allah didn't give them that right. We think Allah did. We think Allah just, وَبِالْ وَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا means do whatever you want with your kids. No. Be the best you can be to your parents, because parents, Rabbayani, they ensured I grow well. How can you ensure somebody's growing well if you're abusing them, cursing them, belittling them, humiliating them? So this, emotional abuse, whether it's silent or spoken, in any relationship is unacceptable and should be confronted. It should be confronted and should be openly talked about. It's a subject by itself. How do you deal with that sort of thing? But this is not an Islamic issue. More important than anything else, this is a counseling matter. Don't listen to me and say, I know what to do in my marriage now. No, you don't. I don't know your situation. Your situation is your situation. You need to go, especially to seek counsel to fix this. When marriage problems happen, then you must seek حَكَمًا مِنْ أَهْلِهِ وَحَكَمًا مِنْ أَهْلِهَا. Either people of good minds from his family and her family can get together. If you find everybody's crazy, then find somebody normal. Okay? Allah didn't say أَحَدًا مِنْ أَهْلِهِ وَأَحَدًا مِنْ أَهْلِهَا. Get one person from her family, her chacha and his mamu, and get them to fight. No, because they're all crazy. So what you do then is you find someone reasonable that you can go to that is sensitive to both sides and can arbitrate or can counsel and understand the situation. But yeah, and it would be irresponsible for me to tell you what to do in a setting like this one, because every situation is so delicate and so unique, and so much depends on it. A family's future, children's future, so much more depends on it. Okay? Quickly. Oh yeah, I did that one. From a Christian brother, how did the Prophet Muhammad know that the Quran was sent from Allah and not from an evil spirit? Because he saw Angel Jibreel. He saw Gabriel himself. And because of the words themselves. And the idea that, it was sent by an evil spirit. What evil spirit tells you to mend the ties of kinship and stand up for justice even if you're being tortured yourself? What devil teaches this? What devil teaches to take care of the orphan and not to allow anybody to be persecuted? What devil teaches to have fairness in the marketplace? The devil should teach, cheat people in the marketplace. Treat people, in different classes. Create a class. Don't teach people human beings are equal. Teach people one human being is better than another human being. Why would the Prophet ﷺ be teaching things that God teaches and think it's from an evil spirit? What if this message is evil for anybody to think this is from an evil spirit? The content of the message speaks for itself before anything else. Anyhow, why should I believe? Because it's good for you. Why should you believe? Because if you choose not to, you will eventually. But it'll be too late. Whether you like to accept reality or not, if you got a news report that a tsunami is coming, why should I believe it? I don't want to believe it. It's depressing. I'm going to play my video game. Then you're going to deal with its consequences. Then you don't get to say, I didn't want to hear this difficult news, therefore I didn't take action. You're responsible for what you've come to. Belief is not a luxury. It's not the same as why should I buy these shoes? Or why should I eat at this restaurant? That's a consumer. Our deen is not offering you benefits to join it. Allah is saying this is the truth. فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. Whoever wants, they can believe. Whoever wants, they can disbelieve. They can walk away. Allah is not in need of you believing or me believing. We are in need of accepting the truth because it only benefits ourselves. Okay, that was all of them. Awesome. I'm done. Alhamdulillah.